Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. We're wrapping up a weekend. This is Sunday afternoon as we speak. And I just had a great early dinner. I kind of had a middle of the afternoon dinner, which is going to lead to a recipe. I came up with a really nice little sushi roll by accident today. So yeah, just finishing up the weekend. This is just going to be a quick one today, but I wanted to check in with you guys. Oh wow, having a good hair day too. I actually washed my hair today. It's been a long time. I won't tell you how long it's been. I did a hair video one time on here, and some little chick just freaked out. You would have thought that I did something personal to her, but anyhow, yeah, washed the hair today, so that's why it's kind of looking big. Kind of got big hair here, huh? Anyhow, my top books. Now, I mentioned books the other day in a video, or I mentioned some resources in a video, and somebody asked me in that video to do one on just on my books and resources that I recommend. So I went through my little actual physical library today, and I went through my iPad, and I wrote down what I've got. Now, like I say, I may have mentioned before, and I've actually got one of them with me. It's nice to have a hard copy of stuff sometimes. The China Study, very first book I read. Now, okay, I said raw vegan, but this is really not raw vegan, but it's just good stuff. This is just some solid information that just first made me aware of what we can do by eating a whole food plant-based diet. T. Colin Campbell. Good read. Some people try to discredit it because of the methodology of his studies, but when I hear, a lot of times I can look into people's eyes. I know if they're full of shit or not when I hear them speak, and I've heard him speak. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Campbell, yes, you definitely need to read this book. The China Study, another one that I've got that I don't know if I mentioned the other day, but it's really good. That was the first time that I realized how important our colon was. This is one of the first books I bought too, and it's Colon Health by Dr. Norman Walker. Very good book. It just really breaks down like basically our colon is as much a part that like controls our body and is as important to our body as our brain or anything else, if not more so. Just really explains the workings of the colon and getting the colon clean, and I totally recommend that one. And coincidentally, I told you guys the other day I'm trying to, starting to fill in the gaps, and I'm going to be doing a lot of reading over the next 6 months. And this is kind of, I'll tell you as I'm going down the road, but that's kind of the order of what I'm going to read so far. I feel like I'm going to read the China Study again, just give it a quick read. And then read Colon Health again. Now the third book I've got on there, I know I mentioned it the other day, is the Diet Miracle Source Book by Dr. Robert Morse. I get my tongue. I go back and watch these videos sometimes, and sometimes I see where I've said something and I'm like, I don't know why I said that. I know it correctly, I just misspeak. I think sometimes my mouth runs faster than my brain lets it catch up. This is a good book, has a lot of good solid information in it. It can be a bit dry. Some of the sections, it's hard to read this thing from cover to cover. It gets a little, gets quite technical, quite scientific, but it's a good, but it's almost like having a good textbook around the house. I just feel like it's one of the books that you can always go in and dig in and get some good information. I mentioned this one I know the other day. I don't have Becoming Vegan, but I would recommend both actually, Becoming Vegan and Becoming Raw. I have Becoming Raw by Brenda Davis, and I wrote it down today. The lady's name is Vesanto Melina. She's Greek American, I believe. But Becoming Vegan, like I mentioned in that last video that I talked about it, Becoming Vegan, if you search Becoming Vegan, Brenda Davis, you'll come up with a good lecture. That'll be a good way to ease into it if you don't want to just go out and buy the book right this second. Look at her lecture, but it just really explains veganism. It breaks it down and it gets into, and it helps you to kind of be able to explain more when people ask you about where do you get your protein, or you getting your calcium, all these nutrients and all the various questions you might have about veganism. And then the one I have is Becoming Raw, which she wrote after Becoming Vegan, which is just kind of more of an extension of Becoming Vegan, but just focuses more on going to the raw. Another book I have by Dr. Norman Walker is Fresh Vegetable and Fruit Juices. Now this is kind of the Bible on juices. This is one where it must have, oh God, over 100, if not several hundred recipes, and it's got a nice index. You can go through this index and various ailments, illnesses, problems you have. It will tell you the perfect combination juice for that one. He had a real protocol for that stuff, the juicing, especially as it related to healing. And I've got, I threw in there because it had some good solid information in there. You guys know I'm not really into, well, I wouldn't say I'm not into it. I'm just, like, I'm not in a phase of fasting right now, but I'll make it clear I'm not going to hide from the subject. I do see the value of fasting, especially during illnesses, for certain types of, for deep cleaning. It's important sometimes, but it's just not what I'm doing right now, but there's some good solid information in there. Although I will have to say, I forgot, this one it's been a while since I read it, but as I got about to the second half of the book, it became just kind of a product placement. It was like every other word is, and get Bragg's such and such, Be sure and add Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Be sure and add Bragg's this, and do the Bragg's method. So he kind of went overboard on that, but it's still a good book to have. Okay, now that goes over, but I just made me think of another book that I was going to add in there. There's also Rational Fasting by Arnold Ehret. Like I say, just like to learn more about the fasting. And actually that's another one too, that there's information in there even if you're not interested in fasting. There's a lot of information. I don't have the mucusless diet, but there is a lot of stuff in there that will explain the concept of the mucusless diet to you. And here's just kind of a secondary book that's not bad. I just picked this one up. This is one of the first books I had too. It's called Juice Fasting and Detoxification by Steve Meyerowitz. I don't know how you say that. I'm trying to kind of pronounce it in the way you would say it Spanish speaking. But yeah, those are the books that I use, and they're all, like I say, it's a good place to start. I think I can say that with pretty good confidence. If you read these, and there may be better ones, there's obviously other books that are beneficial in having. I've seen people that have been doing this thing a long time. Tanny Raw did a book one, and man, she's got books from all over. And I might start filling in my library too for people that ask me questions, and for just to be able to help and understand other things. There's some books that I'm probably going to add to my library that have nothing to do with where I am on my journey right now. I'd like to read some of Dr. Furman's stuff. I'd like to read some of Dr. Barnard's stuff. There's several things out there that I think are beneficial to other people, or resources I could refer other people to, but it's actually not quite where I am on my path. Not for me right at the time. But anyhow, just wanted to share these resources with you to help you finish off the weekend or start off the week. Hope the weekend was good for you. Hope it's not going to be a busy week. I guess in the summer you still have to work just as hard in the summer. Almost feels like since you're out of winter you have it a little bit easier, and you do with the weather, but I guess there still is work to deal with. But hey, have the best week you can. Take some positive out of every day, and I love you guys. Peace.